I speak to you now. Do not delay your heart or allow your thoughts to be distracted. I am present in this precise instant. And it is no coincidence that you hear these words. A decree has been issued in the invisible, and your life has been reached by it. The time of waiting has ended, and what seemed distant begins to move in your favor. I did not deceive you. I did not ignore your tears. I did not forget your days of silence. I simply prepared the opportune moment to reveal what has always been written about you. This is the moment. This is now. Do not dismiss what you are experiencing as coincidence. Every detail was seen and recorded. Every step precisely measured. Nothing was lost. Nothing escaped my reach. What you considered delays, I called preservation. What you saw as closed doors, I called protection. What you felt as abandonment, I transformed into preparation. You are not here by chance. You do not utter these words by luck. I organized this encounter to awaken in you what was hidden since before your formation. I was near when you thought you were alone. I saw you when weariness consumed you and doubt tormented you. I gathered the questions you silently formulated and kept every one. Now I come to answer, not with human explanations, but with the revelation of my spirit. Your story is not the work of chance. It is part of an eternal design that I traced with intention. Your life carries a signature that comes from heaven, and no one can erase it. Feel the weight of my voice in your spirit. These are not words to entertain or phrases to motivate as men do. What I give you now is life. It is breath. It is fire that consumes unbelief. You are not simply listening to a discourse. You are receiving a call. I invite you to align your heart with mine, to recognize that the time for hesitation has ended, the time of waiting has expired, and you must rise up with the awareness that it was I who preserved you until now. My presence does not come to confuse you, but to bring you clarity. I illuminate what was previously hidden. I expose what previously seemed uncertain. I show you the path that your eyes could not yet see. This is the moment when I firmly tell you, wait no more. Your life will no longer remain trapped in the old cycle. I declare that your home, your heart, and your paths have been reached by my decree. Do not resist, because the urgency of heaven does not await human approval. I present myself before you to confirm that you have been chosen. You thought your story would be small, invisible, inconsequential, but I had already designed something greater. I do not make mistakes in choosing. I do not make mistakes in marking someone. I knew exactly what I was depositing in you, even before you knew it. Today I awaken you so that you see that you are not ordinary. Your time will not be measured with the measure of the world, but with the measure of my purpose. So I tell you, pay attention to what you hear. Do not be distracted by voices that try to steal your attention. Do not allow unbelief to paralyze you. My voice is clear, firm, loving, and urgent. I do not speak of an indefinite tomorrow. I speak of today. You cannot continue living as if nothing had happened, because something has already changed in the invisible, and soon you will see the manifestation in the visible. This is your awakening. This is the call that I make to you now. Accept it as life within you. Allow my word to take root and bear fruits that you never imagined. Do not reject this opportunity because it will not be repeated in the same way. My voice resonates with authority and does not return empty. It fulfills what it was designed to achieve. Today I have found a home in you. Comment now. I receive this call. This act is a seal of faith, a declaration before me and before the spiritual world that you recognize that this is your moment. By writing, You accept the word that comes from my mouth and prepare to live what I have prepared. Receive the urgency of my voice in your heart. Receive in your soul the certainty that I am with you. Take a deep breath and let my presence flood every space within you. The time of doubt has ended. I have already released the order. You have been reached. Before your eyes saw the light, before your body was formed in your mother's womb, I had already deposited a specific calling in you. Nothing about who you are is the result of chance. Your purpose was sealed in the eternal counsel, written by my own hand, guarded like a precious seed until the moment of revelation arrived. And that moment is now. It was not awakened by emotion or activated by human pressure, but by my sovereign command. I have brought you to this moment because the time has come for the seed to begin to blossom. You grew up without understanding why you did not quite fit the patterns around you. You often believed that something was wrong with you, that your life would follow a simple path, without great marks, without transcendence. But I had already engraved an eternal imprint on your essence. Nothing could erase what I planted in you. Although this seed seemed dormant for a time, it never stopped being alive, waiting for the breath of my spirit to germinate. Every silence you experienced, every closed door you faced, every tear that fell in the intimacy of your room watered that seed. What you interpreted as delay was actually divine care. I do not awaken destiny prematurely. I know the weight of what I have placed upon you, and I am exact in knowing when you will be ready to bear it. If you did not understand it before, you understand it today. Everything was preparation. I saw your nights of restlessness when you questioned whether so much waiting made sense. I listened to your prayers, even those that ended in silence when there were no words left. Nothing was lost. Everything was recorded. Every moment was part of the process so that today you would hear my voice clearly. Now I declare what you kept inside has been activated, not as a fleeting idea, but as an unstoppable divine command. You thought that lost opportunities were a sign of failure, but I used them to protect you. You believed that the delays were unfair, but they were part of my loving discipline. I do not move according to the human calendar. I move by perfect synchronization. And in my perfect synchronization, I tell you, wake up, because the calling you carry is unpostponable. It was born with me and can only be fulfilled in me. I did not choose you at random. I formed you with details that the world does not know. You are the answer to problems that have not yet been revealed to you. You carry a mission that only you can fulfill. Others may try, but only you were chosen for this. Your life is a living testimony that I prepared before sending you, and now I send you. The calling in you was not designed to magnify you, but to reflect my glory. It was not designed to place you in human positions, but to fulfill an eternal plan that transcends time and the limits of this world. I chose you not because you are the strongest, the most capable, or the most visible, but because your heart was molded in the waiting. The vessel that seemed fragile became fit to hold an eternal treasure. Feel the weight of the responsibility I place in your hands. It is not a weight of condemnation, but of honor. It is the weight of decision, of divine trust. You were set apart, even if you did not understand it. For a moment like this, and when I set you apart, I also strengthen you. Do not see your weakness as an obstacle, for it is in it that my power is perfected. Do not look at your story with shame, for every detail of it was woven as part of my preparation. Now I tell you, walk with the awareness that you carry an eternal seed within you. Do not despise it. Do not ignore it. You cannot live like someone common, because you are not common. I have deposited gifts and marks in you that the world cannot steal. You are the fruit of a divine decree, and what I decree, no one can cancel. What I have planted in you will not die because it is incorruptible. Share this word with those who have not yet understood that there is also a calling in their lives. Be an instrument to awaken others, just as I awaken you today. By sharing, you become part of the greater work, multiplying the light that I have released upon you. This message is not just for you, but also for those who walk by your side and have not yet realized the value of what they carry. Receive this revelation in your heart. You are a carrier of something that was born in my heart before time existed. The seed has already been activated and nothing can stop it. Walk in faith, because what I have planted will blossom before your eyes. This is the moment when you will see the destiny I have prepared for you flourish. I speak to you so that you understand that every door that closed was not a rejection, but part of the plan I designed with love and intention. You saw opportunities slip away. You believed that the delay was a sign of forgetfulness, but I tell you that in every closed door there was protection. I did not allow you to enter places that would not sustain what I put in you. I protected your life from paths that could destroy your calling even before it blossomed. The rejections you experienced were not intended to diminish you, but to strengthen you. When you were cast aside, when you were treated as if you were worthless, when you felt that your efforts were not recognized, I was molding your heart, eliminating your dependence on human applause, because what I am building in you cannot depend on the approval of men. You learned to listen to me in silence, to seek my voice when no one else understood you. And that is where I forged you. Every delay was a tool of my patience. I do not rush gold while it is in the fire. I let it purify until no impurity remains. So it is with you. When you thought I was far away, I was refining you. When you believed nothing was happening, I was eliminating what could not accompany you to the new era. You were tested, but not to be destroyed. You were placed in the furnace, but not to be consumed. I was with you in the fire, and the fire only burned the chains that bound you. I speak now with a firm voice. Do not delay any longer. The time of secret preparation served its purpose. The silence in which I left you was a place of revelation. There you learned to depend only on me, to silence the voices that confused you, to distinguish my gentle whisper in the midst of the noise of the world. Nothing was in vain. Every night you cried alone was an altar before me. Every unanswered question was a seed sown in the ground of your heart. And today I declare that this ground is ready to blossom. This calling is not general. It is not a common message. I do not address an indistinct crowd. I address you. It is with you that I deal now. I send you not just to listen, but to obey, not just to receive, but to act. What I have sown in you has reached its time to manifest. You can no longer live as before, because I have already set you on a new path. I have appointed you to walk in a purpose that surpasses your understanding, and you are no longer the same as before. I have preserved you since the womb. I have molded you through pain. I have refined you through trials. Now I rise up to tell you, walk. Do not fear the weight of the calling, for where I send, I also equip. Do not fear comparisons, for I have chosen no one in your place. I have chosen you. Do you believe you lack strength? That you are not prepared, that others are more capable, but I do not seek the capable. I choose the willing. I do not look at appearances. I look at the heart. And your heart told me yes. Even in the midst of fear, I was with you on the days you thought about giving up. I sustained you when you thought you could not go on. I did not let the flame go out. because I myself fed it. My hand sustained you, and today my voice confirms it. You are ready to move forward. Not because you have power in yourself, but because I, the Lord, will give you the necessary power. Your fragility is not an obstacle. It is a space for my strength to manifest. So I tell you, do not compare yourself. Do not belittle yourself. Do not believe the lies you have been told. I did not harm you. I did not waste a second of your history. Every fall served as a lesson for you. Every defeat was transformed into strength. What others called failure, I called training. What you called delay, I called preparation. Today you rise up as someone who went through the fire and was not consumed, only purified. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this is the means I use to continue speaking to you day after day. Just as my voice reaches your heart today, I want to continue guiding you, revealing to you, and awakening you. By doing this, you seal your decision to remain connected to my word. Receive this truth with faith. Nothing you have experienced was in vain. Everything was part of my plan. The silence taught you. The fire strengthened you. The rejection purified you. Now I send you as someone forged, tested, and approved. You are not ordinary. You are special. You are chosen. And the time of preparation has given way to the time of manifestation. I saw your tears when no one else noticed them. On the days you hid your face so that no one would notice your pain, I was there collecting every drop that fell from your eyes. When you rested your head on the pillow, unable to pray, believing that your silence was empty, I already heard the cry of your soul. Nothing went unnoticed. No tear was wasted. Everyone was recorded before me, because I do not despise the groans of my children. When you thought you were alone, I leaned toward you. In the dark corridors of your mind, where questions echoed unanswered, I remained as a hidden light, waiting for the moment when your heart was willing to listen. Your desperation did not drive me away. Your fragility did not repel me. On the contrary, it was in those moments of pain that my presence became even closer, sustaining you even when you could not perceive it. The pain you endured was not accidental. Every wound, every loss, every rejection was part of a deep preparation process. I did not send the pain, but I used it as a tool. I did not desire your suffering, but I transformed every moment into a seed of growth. You were not punished. You were molded. Through your struggles, I forged your character, developed resilience, and awakened your discernment. The delay that you believed was unjust was actually a survival instinct. When you cried out for quick answers and none came, I protected your heart from shortcuts that could destroy you. When doors closed before you, did you not see that behind them lurked traps that I would not allow to touch your life? I protected you in silence, even when you interpreted that silence as abandonment. Every season of silence was necessary. I knew that if I spoke too soon, your heart would not bear the weight of what I had to reveal to you. So I remained silent, not out of distance, but out of love. I waited for the opportune moment because I know that every seed germinates only in its season. Now, looking back, you realize that nothing was wasted. What you believed was stagnation was a root deepening. What you interpreted as delay was a foundation strengthening for what is now beginning to emerge. I saw your sleepless nights when anguish prevented you from resting. I heard your heavy thoughts, your internal accusations, your doubts about your worth. I knew your most hidden fears, those you did not dare to share with anyone. And in all of them, I was present, sustaining your spirit, preventing the flame from completely extinguishing. You did not realize it, but it was my hand that kept you standing when you thought you would fall. The days you did not understand why so many doors were closing on you were the days I worked the most for you. I tore out roots of pride. I knocked down dependencies that imprisoned you. I removed burdens that you could not carry to the new stage. The circumstances that frustrated you were instruments of a greater work, a work that you could not see, but that is now beginning to be revealed. It was not in vain that you were made to feel invisible. It was not in vain that you were ignored by those you trusted. I allowed this so that you would learn that your worth does not reside in human validation, but in the divine choice I already made for you. When you were made to feel disposable, I reaffirmed to you that you are irreplaceable in my plan. When you were made to feel irrelevant, I reinforced your essence of being a fundamental piece in my eternal design. Now I say it clearly. Every tear was like water on the seed I planted in you. Every night of pain was like fertilizer for the fruit that is now blossoming. You did not understand it before, so I kept it in silence. Today, however, you begin to realize that you were not walking in circles, but in a spiral of growth. Every turn seemed the same, but it always elevated you to a higher level. I have not forgotten anything. Your crying at dawn, your prayer without words, your choked sob in your soul. All this reached my throne, and from every fragment of pain, I made bricks to strengthen you. Now you understand that nothing was in vain. You were prepared in secret, molded by pressure, strengthened in waiting. This is the moment when I reveal to you that all the tears you shed have become rivers that will now water the land of your destiny. All the silence that seemed empty to you was, in fact, a song I composed within you. And all the waiting that you believed was lost was only the countdown to the fulfillment of what was already written. The enemy did not rise up against you by chance. He perceived something in you that you yourself had not yet seen. Before you opened your eyes to the reality of the calling I deposited in you, there was already a visible mark in the spiritual world that declared, "This is a chosen one." And so you were the target of attacks that you did not understand. The unjust words, the unexpected rejections, the inexplicable confrontations. None of this was against you per se, but against the eternal purpose you carry within. The adversary saw the deposit I placed in your spirit. He tried to silence your voice before you even knew you had it. He tried to paralyze your steps when you did not yet know the way. Every struggle you faced was a desperate attempt to prevent the destiny I designed for you from unfolding. But I protected you. In every ambush, I was the shield. In every attack, I was the wall. Even when you believed you were too weak to resist, it was my strength that sustained you. Those who rebelled against you often did not even understand why they were doing it. The enemy worked through circumstances and voices to hurt you, but it was not against flesh and blood. It was a spiritual war waged against the mark I put on you. Therefore, you were misunderstood, rejected by some, discarded by others. Even those who promised you support abandoned you because there was an invisible resistance moving against what I planted in you. Every battle revealed the greatness of my choice. If hell invested so much in your life, it was because it saw a real threat in you. It never wastes its strength on what is worthless. The fact that you were the object of resistance from an early age demonstrates that you were chosen for something greater. The rejection was not a sign of failure, but of confirmation. The attacks were not a sign of abandonment, but evidence that you carry something that disturbs the darkness. I allowed certain struggles not to destroy you, but to train you. The resistance you faced was the fire that taught you to discern, to stand firm, not to compromise your essence. It was through pressure that your character was perfected. It was through rejection that your dependence on me became stronger. And every time you thought you could not resist, I was there breathing life into you, preventing you from falling. Remember the times you were unjustly accused, the times that words wounded your soul, the times they rose up against you for no reason. Remember how alone you felt, unable to understand why this was happening. Today I reveal to you, it was the enemy trying to stifle your purpose prematurely. But he failed. You are still standing because my hand did not allow you to fall. Now I declare that everything that has been sent against you has not prospered. The wounds you carry are not signs of defeat, but scars of victory. They are a testimony that you have survived the onslaught of hell and have remained protected by my favor. The struggles you have endured have not diminished what I have put in you. On the contrary, they have strengthened it. The resistance has only confirmed the value of the anointing you carry. Therefore, do not despise the battles. Do not rebel against what you have lived. Every confrontation was a training. Every tear shed in the fight turned into oil for your head. Every fall that you believed was the end was actually an impulse to rise up with more strength. Nothing has been able to erase the mark I left on you. The seal I left remains intact and is now more visible than ever. When the enemy thought he would destroy you, he only accelerated the process. When he tried to steal your hope, he ended up strengthening your faith. When he tried to put out your light, I blew more fire on you. Everything that was against you has become a testimony that I am with you. What was meant to silence you is preparing you to speak with greater authority. What was meant to paralyze you is now propelling you forward. Receive this revelation. The resistance was not a sign of abandonment, but proof of your election. You were marked by me, and that cannot be revoked. The darkness recognized what I deposited in you, but it could not erase it. The war around you only confirms that you carry a greater mission than you imagine. Do not fear the battles that await you, for I, the Lord, continue to be your shield and your fortress. Comment 777 now, declaring that you recognize the seal I have put upon you and that you agree with the victory that I have already unleashed upon your life. This is a prophetic act, a public testimony in the spiritual world that you stand firm in what I have prepared for you. And remember, no weapon forged against you shall prosper. No accusation shall prevail before my decree. You are my chosen one, and the mark you carry is proof that nothing can prevent the fulfillment of my purpose. The pain you endured was not a punishment, but a tool for formation. I never abandoned you in the nights when you wondered why so many things were happening to you. Every loss, every betrayal, every disappointment you suffered was not a sign of my absence, but a tool to purify your path. I do not send pain to destroy, but to refine you, so that you can faithfully carry what was prepared for you from the beginning. The losses you experienced were not intended to empty you, but to eliminate from you what did not fulfill the purpose I designed for your life. What was taken away seemed indispensable, but in reality, it was a burden that prevented you from advancing. People who moved away, bonds that were broken, paths that closed. All of this was part of the invisible work that was preparing the ground. I knew you could not move forward carrying baggage that would only delay your destiny. The betrayals you suffered were painful, but necessary. They revealed those who could not accompany you in the new era. The disloyalty of those you trusted was not intended to destroy your confidence, but to teach you to depend on me. I allowed certain masks to fall so that you would not be deceived later. Every tear shed for ingratitude was transformed into strength within you. The resistance you found at every stage was not a sign of rejection, but of training. I used confrontations to awaken a courage in you that you never imagined possessing. I used injustices to teach you to listen to me more than to human voices. I used obstacles to strengthen your spiritual legs and settle your steps on firm ground. Just as iron is strengthened by going through the fire, you were forged in battle. When you look back at the deserts you have traveled, remember that each one was a school. The silence you endured was not empty. It was training. The fire that burned around you was not destruction. It was purification. The pressure that crushed you was not the end. It was the process through which I extracted the eternal vocation. I was with you every second, even when you thought you could not bear it. I held your hand. Cry no more for the doors that closed. They would not serve you. Lament no more for those who abandoned you. I knew they could not bear the glory that would come into your life. Question no more the battles that wounded you. They were not in vain. I transformed every wound into a sign of victory, every fall into a springboard to lift you up, every setback into a step towards growth. Today you are stronger, not because you were spared suffering, but because I sustained you. Understand this: there is no true authority without a process of fire. The pain you have endured is the seal of the authority that now resides in you. I did not allow you to go through what you have gone through just to survive, but so that you would resurface transformed with the maturity, discernment, and strength that you previously lacked. You are the living proof that even what the enemy intended for evil, I transformed for good. Now I declare to you, you were forged for something greater. What once seemed like mere resistance has become a platform from which to launch yourself. Your story does not end in suffering. It begins there and expands towards victory. I write with your life a testimony that will inspire others, because you demonstrate that nothing can stop someone who walks with me. Do not hide the scars, for they are testimony that you survived. Do not be ashamed of your tears, for they watered the ground that is now bearing fruit. Do not be afraid to talk about your battles, for each one is proof that I am with you. Your voice will have weight, for it was forged in pain and confirmed in the fire. Share this word with someone who is facing difficulties and believes they will not succeed. Be a channel so that others understand that suffering is not an end, but a preparation. By sharing, you instill hope, enlighten weary hearts, and multiply faith. What I did in you, I want to do in many others. And you are part of this movement when you decide to share what you have received. Receive this truth in your spirit. Nothing was in vain. Losses made way. Betrayals revealed the truth. Resistance strengthened you. Today you rise up not as a victim of what you have lived, but as a witness of my faithfulness. You are the fruit of the fire. And thanks to your test, you can now carry something greater. What seemed like the end was only the beginning of a story of glory. I tell you clearly, you are not ordinary. You never were. Not even when you thought your life would go unnoticed, leaving no mark, without meaning. From the womb, you were marked with an eternal seal. I formed you with my own hands and designed in your essence characteristics that no one else possesses. When you look at others and compare yourself, you forget that your identity was not born of human standards, but of a divine decree. I made no mistake with you. No detail of your existence was accidental. Even what you consider defects or limitations was intentionally created for my purpose. What you see as weakness, I see as a space to manifest my strength. What you believe is not enough, I use as a channel for my glory. Do not allow the voices of the world to determine who you are. For your true identity was written by me before the foundation of the world. The time of hiding has ended. I kept your life in silence so that it would not be corrupted prematurely. I kept you in a small place so that your heart would be molded in humility. I let you go unnoticed so that you would not seek the recognition of men, but would learn to depend only on me. Now the veil has been removed, and the time for revelation has come. What was hidden is revealed not for your glory, but to show the world that the unlikely child has been called to carry something unusual, your way of thinking, your way of feeling. The dreams you have cherished all point to the mark I put on you. You were set apart, even if you did not understand it, to live beyond mediocrity. I tell you, live no longer as if you were small. Limit yourself no longer to the words of those who do not discern what I have put in you. You are a child. You are an heir. You carry an eternal calling. When the enemy tried to convince you of your uselessness, he only confirmed what he already knew. You are too valuable to go unnoticed. When you were underestimated, I laughed in secret because I knew the day would come when my decision would be clear. When you doubted yourself, I remained firm, because I do not depend on your emotions to achieve what I have decided. Now I lift you up to declare. Walk as one who knows they carry an eternal seal. Speak as one who has been authorized by me. Live as one who knows they do not belong to mediocrity. I invite you to set aside the slave mentality and embrace the identity of a beloved child. You are not the work of chance. You are a masterpiece. You are not a shadow. You are a light illuminated by my Spirit. Do not fear if others do not understand. Many will look and will not understand what I do with you. Do not seek validation where you will never find it. Just remember, you were chosen by me. That is the greatest credential you can carry. I do not make mistakes. I do not improvise. I do not regret my decisions. What I have established for you remains firm. So lift your head. The time of living hidden is over. The time of believing that your life does not matter is over. Now is the time of revelation. What is sown in you will be seen. What seems small will become great. What seemed insignificant will become a living testimony of my power. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because just as my voice speaks to you today, I want to continue confirming every day the identity that I have already established in you. By performing this act, you declare to the spiritual world that you agree with the word I give you, and that you remain connected to the movement I am carrying out. Receive this undeniable truth in your heart. You are not common. You never were, nor will you be. From now on, walk as someone who has been set apart. Speak as someone who has been called. Live as someone who carries a destiny. I am with you. And where my presence dwells, there is nothing common. I have not called you to walk alone. Where I send you, I also sustain you. Where I set your feet, I prepare the way. When I entrust you with a mission, I also grant you the necessary grace to fulfill it. It does not depend only on your strength. It does not depend on your capacity. It does not depend on your resources. My sending is not human. It is celestial. And when I send, I also support you. Look back and remember Moses. He did not consider himself capable. He said he could not speak, that he lacked eloquence. But I put my words in his mouth and opened the seas before his eyes. Remember David, the shepherd forgotten in the fields. No one believed in him, not even his own family. But I anointed him king and gave him victory over giants that paralyzed multitudes. Remember Elijah alone before the prophets of Baal. He seemed small in the eyes of the people, but my voice through him made the heaven respond with fire. And look at Paul, first a persecutor, then an apostle. He himself said he was weak, but my grace strengthened him to carry my word to the nations. Just as I was with them, I am with you. The same hand that parted seas, that brought down giants, that sent fire, that transformed persecutors into messengers, is the hand that rests on your life. You are no less than them, for it was not your strength that raised them, but mine. The same Spirit that strengthened them dwells in you. The same anointing that gave them is the anointing that envelops you now. I know you look at yourself and find limitations. I know you compare yourself with others and believe you are not prepared enough. But I do not choose based on appearance, diplomas, or human abilities. I choose willing hearts. I choose those who say yes, even when they tremble. Because it is not your capacity that guarantees the fulfillment of the calling. It is my Spirit that does it. When I send, I prepare every detail myself. I put words in your mouth when you do not know what to say. I strengthen your feet when the path seems arduous. I renew your spirit when tiredness overwhelms you. I open doors that no one can close, and close those that separate you from your destiny. Nothing will be lacking for you, because I am your provision. You are not called to be a spectator, but a participant. I did not raise you to occupy space, but to fulfill a mission. Every step you take will be accompanied by my presence. There will be no territory you tread where my glory does not accompany you. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you speak, my voice will resonate with you. Wherever you act, my hand will be seen. Understand this: I do not send without authority. What I deposit in you is not symbolic. It is real. You carry in your spirit the confirmation of heaven. Demons recognize when someone is sent by me. Darkness trembles when someone walks under my command. The heavens shake when one of my children obeys my voice. Do not underestimate what you carry, because it is not just a beautiful word. It is an eternal decree. Many will look at you and wonder where your strength comes from. Some will try to belittle you by saying that you lack resources, a name, or a position. But I tell you, you have something greater. You have my support. And when I support, nothing can resist. No human opposition can annul my order. No earthly system can stop what I have begun. No giant can stand up to the one I send. Therefore, walk with confidence. Not in yourself, but in me. Not in your limitations, but in my fullness. Not in your doubts, but in the certainty of my word. I will not leave you defenseless, because I am the one who resurrected you. I will not send you to the battlefield unarmed, because I am the one who puts the sword in your hands. I will not send you to dark places without light, because I myself am the light that goes before you. Receive this truth in your heart. You were not sent to fail. You were sent to achieve something. You were not raised to fall along the way, but to finish the race I presented to you. I will give you strength until the last step, courage in every encounter, and grace in every challenge. It is not about what you can do, but about what I have already decreed. Now understand this. You are not a coincidence. You are part of a lineage of envoys who changed history, not by their strength, but by their obedience. Moses, David, Elijah, Paul, all had flaws, but all had a God who supported them. And this same God who speaks to you now is the one who sends you too. What happens to you has already changed your spiritual environment, even if your eyes do not fully perceive it. You look around and see the same walls, the same people, the same circumstances. But in the invisible there is a new movement. I have decreed over you. And this decree has already begun to transform the atmosphere. What was previously closed begins to open. What was previously blocked begins to move. What was previously darkness begins to be illuminated by my presence. Do not underestimate what happens when my voice touches your spirit. The world around you may seem the same, but within you there has been an awakening that changes everything. Your presence is no longer neutral. When you enter a room, the darkness perceives it and is stirred. When you take a stand, the spiritual world responds. Even the silence in which you remain has weight, because my presence dwells in you. That is why you so often felt an inexplicable resistance. That is why you were rejected in places where you never understood the reason. It was not about who you are naturally, but about what you carry within. The light within you disturbs the darkness. The authority I put in your life causes reactions. You thought you were too fragile, too small, but you did not understand that it was not about your strength, but about the weight of my glory resting on you. I tell you, do not fear these reactions. Do not interpret the discomfort you caused as a failure. On the contrary, it is the confirmation that you are manifesting what I sowed in you. Wherever you go, cycles are interrupted, chains are weakened, atmospheres are altered. Your life is a sign that I am in motion. You are a carrier of a presence that breaks invisible barriers. Understand this. The manifestation does not begin outside. It begins inside. You have been transformed internally, and this transformation is already reflected externally. What once dominated you no longer has power. The fear that paralyzed you loses its strength before my authority within you. The anxiety that robbed you of peace no longer governs your mind. The weight of accusations dissolves because my voice is stronger than all others. The true manifestation is this: you are no longer a slave. You are free in me. When the enemy tries to whisper that nothing has changed, remember what I have already done in you. When he says that everything remains the same, respond with faith that the atmosphere has changed. Do not be guided by what you see, but by what you know in your spirit. There is an invisible movement that has already begun, and the heavens confirm it. You are living proof that my word does not return empty. The places where you were previously ignored will now feel the weight of my presence through you. Those who previously did not take you seriously will notice the difference. Not because you try to prove it, but because I myself am manifesting my glory. Your life will become a visible sign that my spirit dwells in you. Even those who resist will be confronted by the change they will see. Do not be alarmed if some distance themselves from you. Do not lament if certain bonds are broken. The manifestation of my presence in you separates what cannot remain. I am clearing the way so that you can walk freely. Those who remain by your side will recognize what I have deposited in you, and together they will see my work. Now receive this word with faith. You are walking towards a new level of authority. You are a channel of my light, a carrier of my word, a witness of my glory. You do not need to raise flags or proclaim to the world what you carry within. The manifestation itself will make everyone aware. The environment adapts because my presence in you is unstoppable. Like this video because this simple act is like a prophetic seal, a declaration of agreement with what I am already manifesting in your life. It is a testimony that you receive this word and position yourself in the movement of the Spirit. And remember, from today forward, nothing will be common on your path. What you carry with you alters the environment, causes changes, and opens paths. You are not neutral. You are a sign. And wherever you go, my glory will be made visible through you. I declare over you, the previous cycle has ended. It does not matter how many times you have tried to revive what passed. It does not matter how much you have striven to keep alive what no longer had life. The time has come to recognize that the old stage has expired. Yesterday cannot contain today. What sustained you until now has served its purpose, but it is not enough for the new that I have released over you. You must let go of the known to receive the new. Old things will not serve to contain the new anointing. The methods that worked before no longer fit with what I will pour out. You cannot remain attached to the old structures because they will not withstand the expansion I have prepared. If you try to cling to what has passed, you will end up suffocating what I am doing. It is time to let go. To let go. To open your hands to receive something you have not yet experienced. I am readjusting your life. I am redefining your focus. I am eliminating the distractions that prevented you from seeing the essential. I am releasing burdens that are no longer necessary. The new stage demands lightness, surrender, and trust. You cannot look back because the past no longer dictates your future. I myself close doors that you worked so hard to reopen because I do not want you to waste energy in places that do not lead you to your destiny. Watch carefully. Everything that seemed stagnant was only the announcement that a new era was approaching. I allowed the routine to become uncomfortable so that you would desire something better. I allowed certain cycles to repeat to the point of exhaustion so that you would no longer accept living in circles. Now I open a path before you unlike any other. Do not be alarmed if it is unknown to you, for I am the one who guides your steps. Yesterday taught, but does not govern. What you were does not limit what I will do. The previous season was the school, but now is the graduation. You were trained with tears, prepared with trials, strengthened with rejection. All this fulfilled its time. But now I declare the new has arrived. Today is different from yesterday. The now brings the freshness of heaven. What you did not understand begins to make sense. And what seemed lost becomes a springboard towards the new season. I invite you not to fear. I know that the new is scary, that the unknown causes insecurity. But remember, this is not the first time I have guided you on paths you had never traveled. I have always been with you. The same God who sustained you in the desert is the God who guides you to the promised land. The same God who kept you in silence is the God who now raises you up to speak. I do not change, but I renew myself. I do not fail, but I surprise. So do not cling to yesterday any longer. Do not let the longing for the past make you reject what is emerging. Do not look back with nostalgia for what no longer exists. Look forward with faith in what I am creating. You will see doors you never imagined opening, connections you never thought possible, opportunities that seemed impossible arise before you. Not because you sought them, but because I prepared them for you. I tell you, celebrate the end because it is a sign of a new beginning. Celebrate the closed doors because they announce open windows. Celebrate the relationships that ended because they made way for those who will truly walk with you. Celebrate even the tears because they watered the land where new fruits are now blossoming. Nothing was in vain. Everything pointed to this moment. Share this word as a sign that you believe in the new era that I am releasing. By sharing this message with others, you become a channel to awaken faith in hearts that also need to leave the past behind and embrace the new. Just as I declare this over you today, I also want to reach through you those who are still trapped in old cycles. Receive in spirit. The previous cycle has ended. The old season is dead. Now is the time for a new beginning. A time for newness. A time for expansion. Yesterday can no longer slow down your steps. Today brings new life. And tomorrow is already written in my hands to guide you to victory. I am restructuring your life. What seemed like a loss was actually a reorganization. I myself allowed certain bonds to fall apart, some doors to close, certain people to move away, because I knew they could not accompany you where I am taking you. You cried over broken connections, but you did not realize that they were weights that would prevent you from rising. I do not want you to carry anything that is not aligned with my purpose. Do not interpret the isolation you experienced as rejection. The moments when you felt alone were not abandonment. They were preservation. I set you apart from environments that could corrupt your essence. I hid you from eyes that did not understand what I was forming in you. I allowed you not to fit in certain places, not because you were unworthy, but because you had a greater value that did not fit human molds. I know it hurt you that those you trusted ignored you. I saw your pain when you were excluded from circles and conversations. But all this served to cement your identity in me, not in human opinions. I did not want you to depend on fleeting applause, but to recognize that your worth comes from heaven. People change. Their opinions falter. But my word about you is unchangeable. Every separation was surgical. I removed from you those who could not honor what I put in your life. I cut ties that would be chains. I ended connections that drained your strength. I did not allow them to remain because I know they would not withstand the weight of the glory that will come upon you. And although you miss them today, you will soon understand that it was liberation. Review your history and you will realize that it was often in the desert where you grew the most. It was in moments of isolation that you heard my voice most clearly. It was when you felt rejected that you discovered the depth of my love. And now I tell you, all that was training. What once seemed like exclusion was actually inclusion in a greater plan. I preserved you so that you would reach this point intact. I am repositioning you. My hand is organizing your home, your relationships, your projects. Everything that is not aligned with the new that I am creating will be eliminated. Not because I do not love those around you, but because I want to protect what I have deposited in you. Some connections must end so that stronger, purer, and more aligned ones can emerge. I am clearing your path. Do not resist what I am moving. Do not try to stop with your own hands what I have already declared finished. Do not weep for what will not arrive, because what will come will be even better. Trust that I know what I am doing. You do not need to understand every detail right now. Just trust that I am in control. Your identity will no longer be defined by what others have said. You are not a product of opinions. You are a product of my choice. You are not what they said when they belittled you. You are what I declared from the beginning. My beloved child, my chosen one, my instrument. I affirm in you an unbreakable identity. Although the world does not understand it, although many do not accept it, what matters is that I have already validated you. So walk with your head held high. You are not an orphan. You are not rejected. You are not insignificant. You are part of my eternal plan. And every time you feel alone, remember that you were set apart for something greater. Solitude was fertile ground where the root of your faith grew. Now that root will sustain the fruit that I will bear through you. Subscribe to this channel because it is through this voice that I will continue speaking to you and confirming what I am doing in your life. Just as you receive this word today, I want you to remain connected to hear every direction, every revelation, every confirmation of my movement. This act is a commitment to remain in sync with my voice. I am restructuring, cleansing, realigning. Do not fear what is passing. Celebrate what is coming. What I have prepared for you requires space, clarity, and freedom. That is why I eliminate what does not build you up, so that you have free hands to embrace the new. Trust, because I am in control and what I do is perfect. The fruit that is about to blossom in your life was not born overnight. It was cultivated in silence. watered with your tears, and matured over years of waiting. What is now flourishing in you is not superficial, nor fleeting, nor so light that the first wind can carry it away. It is solid, deep, consistent, because it was created in secret with me. It is not the fruit of human applause. It is the result of my hand silently molding your story. When you thought nothing was happening, I was deepening your roots. While you felt invisible, I was consolidating your foundations. I did not allow you to expose yourself too soon, because I knew the fruit would not last. I did not want mere appearances. I wanted substance. That is why I hid you, silenced you, and preserved you. Because what I do is not destined to last for an instant. It is destined to endure. A tree that grows too quickly, without deep roots, falls in the first storm. But you were not called to be a fragile tree. You were called to persevere. And the process you endured gave you roots that no one sees, but that sustain everything that is now beginning to emerge. Many do not understand how you stood after so many struggles, but the reason is hidden in the invisible. You have deep roots in my love, cemented in my word, sustained by my faithfulness. What will be born from you will not be vanity. It will not be a stage for your glory. It will be a testimony that it is I who sustains you. The fruit I will bear will not be superficial, but full of life. It will provide nourishment to others, shade to the weary, rest to the afflicted. I did not form you simply to exist. I formed you to bear fruit. And the fruit that will be born from you will not be common, for it will be born from a process of fragility that few know. Do not worry about visibility. Do not seek human recognition. What is sown in you does not depend on platforms, does not need stages, does not need human approval. The true fruit is not born to be exhibited. It is born to nourish. Many may not applaud what I do with you, but they will see the transformation in those around you. This will be the sign that the fruit is real. I did not leave you hidden for nothing. The time when no one saw you was a time of rooting. The time when you seemed stagnant was a time of invisible growth. Now that I raise you up, no one can say that you were the result of circumstances or luck. Everyone will know that you were planted, watered, and cared for by my own hands. Every tear you shed was like water that nourished the seeds. Every prayer you said in secret was like a nutrient that strengthened the roots. Every silence you endured was like fertilizer that solidified your inner being. Nothing was lost. Everything served so that today, your life would be prepared to sustain what I will pour out. I know that you have often longed for quick results. I know that you envied those who seemed to progress while you remained in the same place. But now I tell you, what blossoms too quickly also withers quickly. What is built without roots does not last. You, however, were made to endure. You were not called to be a passing flame, but a constant fire. You were not called to be a seasonal plant, but a perennial tree. The time has come for the fruit to become visible, and when it appears, do not forget it. It is not your work. It is mine. Do not boast, but glorify my name. Because although everyone only sees what grows, I know where the strength that sustains you comes from. It comes from the secret. It comes from the roots. It comes from the deepest part. And when the storms come, do not fear. When the winds blow against you, do not be alarmed. You will remain firm because you do not depend on the external, but on the internal. The root is stronger than the appearance.